There we go. Welcome to game number 2 between 6 players and Team Snapp. But of course, what makes it even better is that we are joined by, make sure the volume is up. We are joined by the one, the only Jess Express. Welcome, which of course I don't have you pulled up, so I have to do that right now. How are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
I am a master with the production quality, so you know that I'm just absolutely on par with all of it.
I think your stream runs pretty smoothly considering all of the chaos that happens between here. It's pretty crazy.
Well, I try, but we are to game number 2. Evan, welcome! Welcome. Throwing out those hearts. How are you doing tonight? Good luck, everyone. She says, Chaos Emeralds. This is Viti. It's pretty chaotic, that is for sure, but that's the way we like it. Keep things up in the air. See how it all falls down. As the Morgana, the Maokai get banned away. Irelia and Yasuo knocked out by Team Snapp. Gotta go through these and sometimes figure out who is it that they're being banned against specifically. And honestly, at this point, I don't know that anyone is banning anything specific against anyone besides the Yasuo ban against Heal It Up. That's the only one that I can target right now. Riven against no free names. Okay, so someone is doing a little bit of homework at least. A little bit.
Yeah, I see the Riven ban going out from last game for sure. I really wonder if they're gonna ban that Pike out in that Blitz.
Well, considering the players aren't in this game, I would be surprised if they banned anyway. But yeah, this is a completely new set of players. It's free play night, so we get a bunch of new people in. Sometimes by game 3, we have to start getting some repeat players if we don't have 30 brand new players in total throughout the night. But as it stands at the moment, the first game, this game, completely new teams and players. That's why it's a bit interesting to see what they decide to grab, as to Marshmallow will lock in the Nautilus with a couple of recent buffs, making it a bit stronger. We'll see how much AP he decides to run on that tank, as Vi is locked in by Aether Rising. Great engage with the Assault and Battery. God's Eye still picking through, trying to figure out what they want to play. We know that Deceased Seal's a pretty strong top laner, but no free names. Really good up there in his own right. One of them are going to have to go to the bottom side, as Lord Reeves, also a good mid laner. Well, let's see what he decides to play, considering he has played mid lane a bit before. Sorry, excuse me. He has played ADC a few times before, but Godside locks in that vein, so we know the ADC role is taken. No free names might be the support for Team Snapp.
I think it's a very smart decision for them to pick that Vayne into the Nautilus, because at least when she starts to scale, she can chunk down their really beefy part of the team, which they seem like they're going to be really beefy with that Nautilus.
Yeah, exactly. The true damage from the Silver Bolt's going to be pretty nice, as well as that Condemn to knock Lee Sin back. If you're quick on your fingers, it could be great to disengage his jump, as Jinx gets locked in by Up Down. Fantastic name. Great late game hyperscaling champion, can go toe-to-toe with Vayne for most of the game, though I think that by the time we hit maybe 35 minutes in, Vayne's going to be winning out. And ooh, I love the Galio lock-in. That might be mid lane, that might be support, but that is so nice paired with the Vayne.
I'd really like to see that as a Galio support. That I think they would complement each other really well, especially with that taunt, knock up, and the Condemn stun. That's just insane amounts of peel for Vayne.
And one of the things that with that Vi, you can allow someone to go in deep and then follow up with your own ultimate, especially in those late game 5-man team fights. Vayne around the side, getting in a couple of those extra auto attacks as well. So looking so far like a potential team fighting composition from Team Snapp, whereas on the side of 6 players, the Lee Sin, the Nautilus, that's giving me a bit more of a pick comp when you got those hooks and you got the insect kicks.
Pick and protected the AD carry.
As the second phase bans are coming through, a couple of mid laners taken away by Team Snapp, the LeBlanc and the Ahri. Kind of pinching the pool there for Heal It Up. We'll see what else Heal It Up can bring. If we actually look and consider Irelia as a mid laner, you could say that that's 5 mid laners banned away from the side of Team Snapp. Then the Vladimir and Zed banned away by 6 players. So they're pinching a little bit of the top in a little bit of the mid lane as well. So that makes me really curious to see what mid laners actually get chosen with so many taken off the table.
It looks like it's gonna be GP mid.
No, that's the CCL top lane.
Well, he has a TP, so.
Yeah, he's gonna be going in the mid lane, and that means that Lord Reeves, even though he complained about it in the Twitch chat, is gonna be playing in that mid lane, which is his comfort. That is what he's most well known for on the stream. And even if No Free Names trades over the Galio and picks something else for support, though I highly doubt that as he's taking Barrier, it's looking like Lord Reed's probably going to play some comfort pick in the mid lane. If I had to guess, I'd say the Vigar, but who knows? We'll see.
Looks like the Rise. Yep, it's going to be Rise mid and then Jace top.
I like the Lord Reeves as he's last picking, gets to counter pick this Rise, and that's what's going to be interesting to see. What he decides to take, something with good CC or long range poke. No, they juked me. It's the Galio mid lane. Thresh support, well, unless it's Thresh mid lane. But
I don't know. But Galio has barrier, so it looks like he's gonna be in the mid lane.
But Gangplank
Thresh has that Ignites.
Gangplank has exhaust. Yeah. So is it support Gangplank, top lane Galio, mid lane Thresh? I don't know. We'll see if these spells stay the same as the last 30 seconds come through. The Jace is pretty nice with that Rise considering how much long-range poke they have, as well as when you're looking for a pick comp, you don't necessarily want to be trying to 5-man fight, so you can have either one splitting. At the moment, the Nautilus, Lee Sin, Jinx, Jace, Rise, that makes a great 1-3-1. You send the Jace and Rise to opposite sides of the map pushing, and you leave the Nautilus and Lee Sin to kind of peel for that Jinx in that mid lane, kind of splitting up the enemy team. Which, to be fair, I like from Team Snapp's response. The Galio and the Gangplank can somewhat make up for it with the global ultimate of the Galio and the very global ultimate of the Gangplank.
It's going to be definitely interesting to see them team fight. Both teams are really beefy. There's a lot of pick potential on both sides and a lot of hard engage.
Especially with that Thresh coming out. Now, as we run through the players and their champions, we do have that betting open. As you look at the compositions yourself, you make that analyzation. Who do you think is going to win game number 2? I know for myself, I won game 1, so I'm feeling pretty good. Can I go 2 for 2 tonight? That's the question. We'll see. As the side of 6 players, they're going to have Tim Marshmallow with the Nautilus in the bottom lane supportive role. Dragon Axe taking that Lee Sin into the jungle. Up, down on the Jinx in the 80 carrier role. Senguri with the Jace in the top lane. And Heal It Up, grabbing the Rise for the mid lane.
I think I'm going to put my vote on 6 players this
You got to run through Team Snapp. Or do you want me to do that?
Alright, I can run through Team Snapp.
Alright, that'd be awesome.
So playing on Vi would be Aether or Rising. Playing on Vayne is Godside. Playing on Galio is No Free Names. Playing on Gangplank, Decrease Seal. And playing on Thresh, Lord Reeves.
Alright, and I want to give a huge thank you to Twilight Molt for the follow. Thank you for playing a minion. You can help push these lanes down. Maybe we'll eventually make it to one of those inhibitors. As to Marshmallow... Okay, excuse me. When we're looking at the team comps as a whole, you were mentioning the pick potential coming out from Team Snapp with that Thresh pick, which I really like. Because with that basically allows for them to skirmish just as heavily, especially if they try to counter the 1-3-1 with their own 1-3-1. Galio, Gangplank in side lanes, Vi, Vayne, Thresh all together. Again, a somewhat similar protect the carry composition for those 3 players, the Thresh and the Vi, peeling for Vayne and trying to look for those hooks. Do we expect to see some big brain 3000 IQ, macro plays across the whole map from this game? Not really, but we're just analyzing from the champions that they've selected what would be the best positioning for them to try to take up.
I think they're going to have to also worry about that Rise ulti because it can give them some great disengage or engage.
OMG Seal. Okay, first of all, you need a space between blue and 10. And Vitey, you don't need an exclamation point after 10. So I will do it to show you how it works as I decide that I think red is actually going to win again. And I'm going to drop a big fat 100 on that bet. There you go for an example of how you actually bet. Looks like Seal has also been able to find it. We'll figure out whether or not one of us comes out with the correct answer after this game. Looking at the compositions, the Rise is going to be something to watch for on the side of 6 players. A very strong carry, but can take a little bit to get into the game, but he's kind of a late game insurance policy for 6 players if it goes super late as a counter to the Vayne, because all you got to do is find one route that makes it difficult for Vayne to escape your damage, and you can just blow her out of the water. And that's really what Vayne has going for her towards the late game, besides just straight up damage, is the cooldown on that tumble is so incredibly low, she can repeat it over and over and over and chase down or dodge out on a lot of the enemy damage. So combining the Rise route and the Nautilus ultimate, I think they should be able to have good security when it comes to those late game fights trying to lock down this Vayne. Oh, you're saying bet on blue. Oh, you gotta, again, it's exclamation point bet, exclamation point red or blue, space, and then the number, whatever number XP you want. And if you're curious about how much XP you have, just use the exclamation point with an S in the end. I'm not even failing my own code type commands. There you go. To see how many points you have that you can bet on. You can bet all of it, you can bet nothing. I think at some point, just for fun, I'm gonna do a bet all, just to have a little bit of fun, go crazy.
I'm gonna do that right now.
Oh, you're betting all on blue.
Oh, come on, blue, don't let me down. So exclamation mark bet, exclamation mark blue,
and then space.
All.
No, just space 89.
89. Let's get it going.
All in on blue. All right, 6 players. She is going to be your 6th player this game. We'll see if that's enough to carry you into the victory. And honestly, they do have some pretty good setup. That Lee Sin, really great in the early game of being able to find those picks, whereas the jungle for the side of Team Snapp, Vi, could take a little bit longer. Definitely likes having level 6, can engage pre-6, but likes having 6, whereas Lee Sin doesn't need level 6. He's well known for level 2 ganks. He can gank on the bottom side because the Nautilus is basically guaranteed CC if he lands a hook. That should be a kill, especially in the early game on that Vayne. And then in the mid lane, he's got Rise, who's going to have the root. Top lane might be the only one that's slightly iffy for the Lee Sin, considering that there's no hard CC on Jace. But if there's a fight breaking out, and the Lee Sin can come in and kind of wrap the fight up and finish it off in favor of 6 players, that would be good. So we'll keep an eye on these junglers as the game gets started, which we are into 6 players taking on Team Snapp for game number 2.
You better win this one, 6 players. Used all of my coins on you. Let's get it going.
All right, we got a 4-man stack at this point from Team Snapp. They're doing a little bit of invade, but they're invading without the gangplank. That's not the end of the world, considering the GP is a top laner. Who Thresh gonna find to Marshmallow? What did he start? Did he go Flay or Q? It's gonna be Q, and he hooks the Nautilus, drags him back a little bit. There's no Flay to follow up the rest of the team, trying to chase in. I think that Silver Bolt's in the Ignite from the Thresh to try to get the kill onto Nautilus, but it's not going to land. Not quite enough damage. It's a level 1 Ignite. So they're going to try to step forward. They're looking for the finish. They know that he's down here in extremely low health. He's hiding in the brush. Thresh going to throw out a hook, but only lands into Lee Sin. So they're going to drag him close. The taunt from the Galio is going to miss. Not in range. And the pressure from Team Snapp. Crazy early game, but they don't get punished for it.
Yeah, that Nautilus hook, just a little bit, a couple seconds. If he waited a couple more seconds, might have been able to get him a little bit more escape on that, but they hooked the exact same time he hooked. So that was pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, exactly right. And if the Thresh hadn't thrown out the hook when he did, then Nautilus would have been a free escape walking away. So good stuff from both sides, but especially for the side of Team Snapp, this aggression is going to give themselves the red buff at the beginning of the game. I'm curious as to why Updown didn't join that kind of skirmish a little bit in the enemy team, or in their own jungle. Might have been afraid of being engaged upon. Might have just said, you know what, you guys started this fight, you can finish it. I'm not even worried about it. I'll just go to lane and pick up some farm.
I think he just probably didn't want to risk.
The C-Seal risking a lot of damage on that top side, down to about 200 health. Continues to step forward aggressively. Doesn't have that level 2 for the heals off of that Scurvy, as no free names, down to about half. Gonna caught out by Dragon Axe, who's punishing this Galio for trying to get a little bit in his own jungle. Throws out the barrier, but can't get under the turret. The execution damage from Elise in early game is so huge, and now the Jace gonna find a second kill for the side of 6 players, starting off the game strong on the gangplank in the top side.
So that Lee Sin just definitely got the first blood, and that'll give him like 100 gold lead, and maybe help him out with that red buff that he lost.
Yeah, being able to counter jungle. I think he actually started the enemy team red because he's grabbing his own blue now. So in theory, he's a little bit behind the vibe, but the kill gonna kind of bring him back up a little bit. If we check on the gold, he's actually ahead by 300 gold, which is pretty nice because that was first blood. Oh, Thresh trying to thread the hook between the minions, will miss out. Not sure which minion watching the stream he grabbed, but he grabbed one nonetheless.
The life of a hooking champion. Damn, them darn minions. Always in the way.
The best thing I ever saw when it came to a Thresh trying to hook someone was he carried a smite to smite a minion so that he could hook through the minion afterwards and find it. It was so beautiful to watch. As the junglers getting a little bit antsy on each other, Vi's red buff has fallen off. She's going to be joining the Galio in that mid lane as no free names getting harassed a little bit by that Rise.
Rise is pretty low too, so it was pretty smart of him to safely back off there.
He's got a corrupting potion to start, so will be at a health advantage once he heals up, but at the moment, no free names. Gonna be okay. And keep in mind, Galio's passive means he will have a bit of AP resistance, as that Nautilus in the bottom lane gonna be hooked up. Walks straight into the Flame Chompers. It's actually Vayne that walked into the Flame Chompers, as Jinx is on his own team, but a great engage by Lord Reeves, giving a kill over to the Vayne, which is exactly what you want if you're the side of Team Snapp.
So it looks like GP in the top lane does have the CS advantage right now. That might help with the first blood or the second kill that Jace got after first blood.
Up, down, in trouble. Another great hook from the Thresh. We'll actually take away the kill. This one is all right. I gave one to you, Vayne. Let's just keep things even. Perfectly balanced as things should be. Kill for the Thresh as well. In the jungle. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. She's about 6 CS up too, so it's a really good time for her to back after killing. That'll give her a huge gold lead when she rotates back in.
Exactly. Now, one of the things to note is that Lee Sin is falling behind a little bit when it comes to total farm. Still, 20 CS to the 28 of the Vi. She just recalled, so she's got a good buy advantage over this Lee Sin. We'll see what the Lee Sin decides to get once he finishes off these Krugs. But that Stalker's Blade on the Vi, especially towards that top side, means that she could try to make a play, but there is a blue ward in that Tri-Brush.
So it looks like red side has about a 3k gold lead on the blue side right now, with the kills really even and towers even. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in a few more minutes of this game.
2 kills to 2. Pretty even at this point. Nautilus has that relic shield at the beginning of the game, whereas Lord Reeves went instead with that ancient coin. So gonna need to keep the pressure up, killing these minions to try to fill up that supportive item. Whereas that Nautilus definitely gonna go tank. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing about both teams is they're both slow playing champs at the early game, so they both scale. So it might be a little bit of a slow game right now.
Slower game to start off, but that's what makes these small movements, especially by these junglers, really critical, is if they can get a lane like this Vayne ahead, it could spell a lot of success for them later on in the game. At the moment, Vayne, as she got pushed underneath the turret and had to clear the wave, about 7 CS in the lead. Nice condemn. They're straight into the hook onto the Nautilus. However, to Marshmallow, pretty tanky. The flash will be forced out anyway. Vayne gonna wait for the tumble to come off the cooldown. Instead, return and focus onto up down. There's that third proc of the silver bolts. That's gonna be another kill for Godside. They could chase in under Nautilus. He's underneath the turret. In the meantime, it's a 2v2 fight around the top or mid lane as a flash from Aether going to be followed by Dragon Axe over the wall. But Vi finds the kill. Aether is still here. Gets smited or finished off by Heal It Up. That wasn't a smite, just a straight up kill. And the taunt comes through from the Galio. However, he can't find the Justice Punch. So Heal It Up will literally run circles around the Galio as Sengri comes in just for the assist.
The blue man kiting around, getting those kills.
But it's
Rise.
only even kills, and it's actually still a 600 gold lead for Team Snapp. Especially with that Vayne in the bottom lane. Something to keep your eyes on in security. Ooh, almost walked right past that control ward. That was going to be a little bit of a oof if he did.
That Vayne has 150 gold for shutdown and is 56 CS compared to the 39 on Jinx right now. So she is really behind. She's going to need either a really nice gank bot or just to kind of farm safely.
And credit to Jace on the side of 6 players. Senguri not only coming in with that teleport, but also still staying now 10 CS lead over this gangplank. It may not be a high action top lane, but definitely in control of the lane, being able to lead well against the gangplank.
Wow, that CS is pretty crazy on Jace. 71 CS in 8 minutes.
Almost that perfect 10 CS per minute. As Thresh looking to be a little bit more forward in that bottom lane, clearing out those wards so that Vi can come in. She's got that level 6 Assault and Battery as Galio's making a play in the mid lane, just keeping Ryze busy so that he can't come to the aid of the bottom lane as Condemned comes through. Sorry, Jinx. Assault and Battery will finish you off, and now a great Q in by Vi. Tanks up the turret and picks up a double kill on the Nautilus. Pings onto the Wind Drake, but it's the attention from 6 players focused on the Galio. He gets a taunt off, but it's not going to be nearly enough, and the Chicken Man has fallen. Gets fried up for 6 players feasting.
So it looks like the Lee Sin is really focused on getting that Ryze fed, and every time that bot lane gets a gank, so does mid lane. So it's always even kills. It's just going to be interesting to see who carries the game in the end.
Is it going to be that Ryze in the mid lane or the Vayne in the bottom lane is the question, as Vi's going to be making a play on that Ryze.
Yeah.
Heal up slowed with the red buff, but he gets a good trade damage. But he is still going to be backing away, which once again gives Team Snapp some control over the area around the Drake. They've got good ward coverage, but they're going to be leaving it, and that means Nautilus can just come in and clean it all up. Oh, GP, hold on, making a play at the top side, drops the exhaust, the ignite takes down Senguri, might just fall to the poison damage. Not going to be enough at this point. Good flash and continuously healing up. Going to try to go back in onto C-Seal, but the ultimate has already been called out from GP. So he's going to back away, maybe looking for a sneaky barrel. Try to catch Jace off out of guard. But a good trade and lane fight won by the C-Seal.
Yeah, so like I said, it was a very smart pick to get that Vayne because that Nautilus is really not doing the potential he has because she's just chunking him down right now. That's exactly what where they want to be.
Lee Sin coming to the top, see if he can catch GP out, but at this point, things are going to get a little bit harder to finish this gangplank off. He's going to be picking up that Trinity Force pretty soon. I'm curious to see with this back what he decides to buy. It's going to be finishing off the boots. I'm actually not surprised about that. A lot of gold has to be invested into Trinity Force. Sometimes getting the armor off of those ninja tabbies is the best way to deal with Jace, who's already got about 2 half items to his name.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see who gets that Cloud Drake. It looks like Vi is heading towards it. She may rotate mid, though, for a gank.
She's got that Assault and Battery back up, so she could engage with that ultimate. She's seen on that control ward, so backs away for now. Still playing around this bottom side of the map. You want to get the Vayne as far ahead as possible, but a good freeze by the Thresh and the Vayne. Just kind of holding it towards their side of the map, denying this Jinx farm. They're about a 10 CS lead at this point. Thresh going to look for a flay into a hook. It throws out the ultimate, just forces the flash out of the Jinx. Okay, so they got the flash out, but Rise is still here, throws out that Realm Warp, looking to make an engage, potentially onto the Thresh. He's immediately hooked up and pulled under the Nexus. Sure, the Flake comes in. Galio, but it comes in, but it's not going to finish off the Rise's Vayne has already grabbed it. Double man taunt as well. Up, down, gonna go down as the Nautilus is now on the run to Marshmallow falling as well. Double kill to the Vayne as well as an extra to Aether Rising, and massive victory to Team Snapp, who just called the play to counter the Rise engage in the bottom side and get a lot of gold off of that. We'll see if they go for the plates or the Drake.
It definitely needed that 6th player there for that 4-man gank bot.
You gotta cheer louder for your team if you want them to win. As the plates are all gonna fall off from 6 players. Bottom lane turret, and that will be the first turret of the game going to Team Snapp, and they still have time to rotate onto the Windrake if they so choose. Many members of 6 players are back up and potentially could try to counter or at least fight around the Windrake, but for the moment they've backed away. Lee Sin actually lands the Q but won't go in as he just saw the Windrake falling with that vision.
So Red definitely has more of a gold lead right now with 4K and a tower picking up after that with 9 kills. Kills are no longer even, with blue side having 5.
Yeah, good stuff.
As well as a Cloud Drake happening on the red side. That's going to be good for the Vi roam and more gank potential.
Absolutely. And they're kind of taking control of the game so far. GP rotating to the bottom side of the map, going to find himself in a 1v2 against the Nautilus and the Jinx. He gets the double barrels down as Jinx is actually trying to finish off those barrels. In the meantime, Aether catches out the Vi, finishing him off, and Gangplank solos out one on the bottom side. He's got the barrel explosion as well. The CCL might straight up 1v2 as the fight's going straight to the top side of the map. Galio getting hooked up for a moment, but he cannot do anything and will fall. Lord Reeves trying to get the CC down, lands the last auto attack to finish off the Lee Sin, and Godseye on this Vayne doing what she can do. Jace has got a lot of damage, but the CC from the Thresh might be enough for the Vayne to come out in the lead. Will not, but now Thresh can pick up another kill. I think he got 2, maybe 3 kills out of that entire fight, but that was pretty much an ace for the side of Team Snapp as GP soloed out these bottom laners. What a crazy play.
I can definitely see the sweat on Jace's face there, trying to kill that Vayne and shut her down.
Invisible, dodging this way and that. You can only rely on your autos, but she is so slippery. In the end, he did get that shutdown gold, amassing to a nice 400 extra gold for himself, and he was already doing fairly well in the top lane. We'll have to see, though, if he can match this GP as he's headed right back to the bottom lane to go back to split pushing.
Yeah, that GP is about 123 gold compared to Jace, so he's like almost 20 gold CS above him, and 2 kills.
Engage from the Lee Sin, catching out Lord Reeves. He's going to flay him back with Super Mega Death Rocket coming to come in. Lord Reeves destined to fall. Realm Warp going to bring everyone to the party. They're going to knock down the Vayne as well. Double kill to the Lee Sin. However, the Rift Herald was secured by the Vayne. So you sacrifice your bottom laners again, but this time you get yourself a Rift Herald. We'll see where Aether Rising decides to use it.
It was secured by Vi. She grabbed it, said, "Nope, out of this," and snuck away.
Kick back from the Lee Sin, trying to get the insect play onto the Gangplank. He's going to feast for just a moment and then still go down. No free names. The tanky Galio not able to do that much to protect the GP underneath this middle. First tier turret should be falling as 4 members from 6 players are taking it down bit by bit. The Thresh and the Vayne are back up, coming to defend the second tier turret in the mid lane. That first one is going to be gone and actually now give a turret lead to 6 players.
Yeah, going down from no turrets to 2 turrets is pretty great for them. So they're definitely utilizing the map, their advantage right now, and going exactly where they need to go to get what they need to even out the game. And they were behind 4K, and now they're about a little bit ahead in gold, actually, by 1K.
A couple hundred, but I love
a couple hundred.
That play. When they sent 4 members to the mid lane, Team Snapp had to respond, and in doing so, they left the Jinx to get a second turret on the top side. So not quite the split pushing that we were expecting when we were looking at the compositions as a whole, but it's still giving 6 players that idea of having just players pushing all around the map. The Jinx back again solo on that top side will be seen here shortly by Team Snapp, and we'll see what they decide to do against that. as there's no major neutral objectives on the map for them to try to grab. It's all about just vision.
It's basically a farm game right now. Vision, farm game, and they're just trying to catch up and maybe punch in some kills on that Jinx. Needs to happen, really. And for that Rise to scale.
Oh, the bait from the Thresh! Can you believe it? Lands the flay. Sorry, up, down, you're gonna fall. That was so good. I believe that was the Vayne that dropped, yeah, the Farsight ward. And caused Jinx to go, ooh, free ward, I'll take it. And just walk in 3,000 IQ play. No free names. Taunt's actually going to land into Lee Sin despite him hopping away. Going to miss the Sonic Wave. Aether rising here as well. So we could see mid laners and junglers fighting once again. But Nautilus is joining his team. So is the Jace. Bringing more members to the party. GP here. Just a little bit of a barrel damage to the Jace. And the fight
looks like
is
they're going to
discontinued.
grab some dragon control right now. For the next dragon to come up. Which is going to be an Inferno, and they definitely would be an asset for them to have it. But looks like Vi is going to pop that Herald, push that down, distract them, and maybe slip them off that dragon.
Yeah, because they want this Infernal Drake, so they're going to bring everybody in. Galio looking for the two-man taunt, the flash cleanse by the Rise to get out at the moment, but Nautilus is going to be the one who's picked off. Finished up by Gangplank, and the Infernal Drake has been started by Team Snapp. We'll see if the Vi can fight it away. It is reset, walks back into the pit. Lee Sin here could take the Sonic Wave to try to pick it off. But nope, he's going to back away. An Infernal Drake secured by Team Snapp. And the Rift Herald is still alive on the bottom side of the map, so they can push with it as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a smart call to spawn that Herald right before that dragon fight. It was great timing. Shoved the wave and made it so they killed most of the team and are able to grab another tower with that Herald. Giving them a 1k gold lead.
11 kills to 16. Little bit of a lead for Team Snapp. Shelly only got one charge off onto the bottom lane turret, setting it down to about 60% health. But it's still a little bit here, a little bit there. Team Snapp trying to come back in. Vi considering going in onto the Lee Sin, but with the Rise rejoining, they say let's focus on pushing these waves out.
Yeah, I definitely say it's not out yet for the count. They are, you know, getting everything counts, and it is definitely helping them become even.
Looking at the ADCs, they're actually tied up on CS, but look at the difference in kills and deaths. 6-2 Vayne to the 0-6 Jinx. That is a rough game so far from that Jinx. Only one real item completed, as it is 2 for the Vayne. Going to be starting on her third here shortly. Infinity Edge finished off on the GP. Go ahead, sorry.
Up down is definitely up and down, so I mean his name's pretty accurate this game, unfortunately for him. It's a rough one, so like you said.
That's when you got to change your name to just Up. And then, you know, you're going to do great. Just change your name to Victory, and you win all of your games easy peasy. As we get a little bit of setup around here, the Baron, both teams maybe wanted to jump on it once it hits the 20-minute mark exactly. Wait, they're going to find Vayne on the top side. Lee Sin chasing in, and a good insect kick into Jace's awaiting arms. Dragon Axe will secure it, I believe, with Smite. Make sure that the Vayne goes down.
Very nice.
Galio going to be joined by the Vi, trying to set up for a play. Assault and Battery only onto the Lee Sin. Thresh is here, but they don't have any damage. Goodbye, Vi. And that's the Realm Warp from the Rise coming in, leading and trying to jump onto the Thresh, but they won't be able to do that as Rar subs with the Twitch Prime for another 11 months. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for that support, as Thresh is going to land a hook onto the Jace. Dropping Jace down to about half, but can they fight this for Team Snapp? They've lost 2 members. They're going to be fighting 5v3. Galio's still going to be going in. It's only Lord Reeves here as well, so Rise has all day to deal the damage. Rest of the team going to join him as well. Jinx actually peels off of the Baron, and it's going to be reset. So not exactly what 6 players wanted. Leave somebody on the Baron. It's been restarted once again. Thresh getting a little bit of CC down onto Rise. Might be dying. A good heal by the Vayne keeps him alive, and Gangplank comes in, finishes him off, and that has delayed long enough for Team Snapp to come in. Good Flame Chomper slows the engage from Team Snapp, so they're going to start up the Baron themselves. It's down under 3,000 health. This game is so tense at the moment as Sangria and Uptown around the corner. Vi fails to go over the wall, so they don't have the smite, but Gangplank will secure the Baron, and Team Snapp, with a ridiculous delay that should not have worked, finds themselves the Baron.
Yeah, them rotating off when the Rise definitely was able to 1v2. It's definitely not an option for them. As well as that Jace really tried his best to snipe that Baron with his Q, but it just wasn't enough.
Aether rising on the run as the rest of the team going to find some slows. Jinx still has Super Mega Death Rocket if they get someone low enough. But Team Snapp just going to back away. We'll see what they can do with this Baron. They could go back to the 1-3-1 we were talking about at the beginning of the game, or just try to group, because some of these bigger team fights with that Galio multi-man taunt and the GP ultimate can really set themselves up for victory.
Basically, it just comes down to champions right now, and that's about it. Like, there's only a 2k gold lead between red and blue, with red having the gold lead. 14 kills on blue and 17 on red. 2 towers on blue, 3 on red, with 2 dragons happening for them, so. And Baron.
Oh, and there's a second Infernal Drake coming up here shortly. That's going to be big for Team Snapp if they can grab it. It will feel like Thanos' gauntlet when they jump on somebody, especially this Vayne. 7, 3, and 6. 2.5 items completed. And Jinx is all alone in the bottom side. This is not what Up Down wants. Vayne was caught out once on the top side, but now it's 6 players' turn to do the same. Up and down. It's like a seesaw. Up and down.
At least they still have 5 players on the map, Kappa.
Hey, that was not spoilers. That was from Infinity Wars. If you haven't seen Infinity Wars at this point, what are you doing? You deserve to have that movie spoiled. I didn't say anything from Endgame. In fact, how would you even know if I watched Endgame? You wouldn't. All right, Infernal Drake secured by Team Snapp. Setting up for potential team fight. A 6 players going to be fighting with 4 around the Infernal Drake. That already went down to Marshmallow. Caught out. Flashes away. Trying to use the, Hextech Proto Belt that he built to escape. Try to get a little AP on the Nautilus, I suppose. When you're a Seaman, you know, you do what you got to do, I suppose. But still going to be falling. Didn't save him this time as the bottom lane second tier turret going to fall. And Team Snapp doing a great job focusing on that overall macro, using the Baron buff to now start to siege up on the bottom lane inhibitor.
Come on, Rise, I believe in you. Poke him off.
Jess still cheering her team on, hoping for success from them. The Thresh Hook barely misses. And Vi's going to hit that recall to try to deal with Jinx, and that means it's going to be a 4v4 fight because Jinx is solo pushing the mid lane, and Vi has gone to respond. Lord Reeves aggressively stepping forward. We'll see if a big fight breaks out. They still have the Baron buff, but they're not going to have a wave to fight in. Good barrel explosion by Seal, though, damages the Rise, and they decide to back away for 6 players.
Yeah, it looks like it would have been a 4v4 there with a Jinx mid and the Vi also mid. So that would have definitely been interesting to see, but I think the advantage still would have been with red side there. Oh,
Thresh gonna find a flay, but the hook gonna land instead onto the Jace. What a great target. He's gonna go golden with the stopwatch as Vi just goes straight in, trying to be that frontline tank. Galio gets the knock up as well. The disengage is good from the side of Team Snapp, so they pick off 1. And they back away. With success there, they instead rotate to the bottom side of the map. They don't have Baron, but they might have a Lee Sin as they got the flay as well. Oh, great ward hop by Dragon Axe with a flash from God's side. Flash for flash traded, and a good slow from Tim Marshmallow. However, that might be his own death going down, and now Vi can flash for the smite!
Oh, boy!
And with what is almost an ace, Team Snapp can now push the mid lane, but they don't have a wave to see. Seal has rotated to the bottom side. Solo takes out the bottom lane inhibitor turret. Can try to 1v1 heal it up, but the Rise late game damage is starting to hurt. Over the team gonna join him as well, and now heal it up in the middle of those minions, trying to use the Realm Warp to escape. Flashes into it, but it's flayed out of it by the Thresh. The CC is good. Vi picks up the kill, and Team Snapp might find themselves an inhibitor. Singuri seeing what the Jace can do with a little bit of poke, might find himself no free names. But that is going to have to be on Team Snapp's way out, and he has to get through the minions. Oh, that Q not going to land. Team Snapp just seemed to be making all the right moves.
Definitely looking bleak for 6 players. That's for sure. With them having 14 kills versus their 23. 6k gold lead on the red side, and they're up by 2 extra towers with 2 Infernos and a Cloud Drake. It's going to be a rough one for them to come back to at this point.
You'd think with 6 players, they'd be able to win just off of that. You got more people on the map, so you should be able to win. But I guess math doesn't always work out in your favor. Another Infernal Drake on the way, as Baron going to be up here shortly as well.
Yeah, they definitely need to get that Nautilus tanky, if anything, to help tank a little bit more of that team fight damage that's happening for Jinx to maybe pop off and get her passive off. But that's a very slim chance right now.
4 members pushing in Team Snapp. They know this turret is extremely low, so Vi just takes a shot as she walks up, finishes it off just with that auto. Continue the siege or go to Baron? That's the question. Looking like they're going to try to maybe pull a Fnatic brush. Try to see if they can pick somebody off. Is any one from 6 players going to walk into this brush?
They're looking for that cheese.
Oh, the Assault and Battery onto the Lee Sin, trying to catch him out, and they are going to be able to finish him off. Heal it up. Going to try to come from behind the Nautilus as well. But they aren't going to walk into the brush.
They're so confident right now. Look at them flexing. They're like ready for that Baron after that Lee Sin pick. And it looks like they're going for it.
Yeah, they're not even on the side of 6 players. Going to try to push the mid lane. They're just going to back away, leave the Baron for Team Snapp to pick up. And this game is looking like it might be in the books. Ooh, a good attempt by the Jinx with that Super Mega Death Rocket to potentially steal it away. However, Thresh body blocking it. Going to keep it safe.
It looks like they might reset and go for another dragon here.
If they pick up that 3rd Infernal Drake with the Baron buff, there's not much that 6 players will be able to do to stop this. And that's actually something to talk about for the moment as we are waiting on this Infernal Drake to be secured by Team Snapp. What can 6 players do to get back into the game at this point? They're down almost 10,000 gold. And they are just bleeding everywhere. Dragon Axe. Okay, well, that's not what you want to do. You just walk in and straight up die as, hey, more me, Daddy87. Thank you so much for that follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Saguri is not enjoying this game as he's going to be hooked up. Death sentence is confirmed to Marshmallow. Going to be following shortly as well. Good flash, though. And the Hextech Broto Belt saves him. Are you kidding me? The 3000 IQ play. He bought the Hextech forever ago, knowing this moment would happen, and gets out alive. Too bad the base is basically gone and the game is over.
He tried his best.
You can't win them all, right? You just can't win them all. All right, 14 kills to 26. Team Snapp coming in hot with the triple Infernal Drakes, starting up the Nexus turrets. As Nautilus going to try to make a desperation play, but the Assault and Battery straight onto the Jinx. Galio ultimate as well. They don't even need it. Heal it up, doing the best that he can to distract the rest of the team, but they want those extra kills. They want to look good on stream. They want to look for the Nautilus as well, but the game is over. And ladies and gentlemen, while the early game looked pretty even, Team Snapp just come out massive, giving kill after kill to Godseye and Aether Rising, and will take victory in game number 2.
I'm sorry, I failed as your 6 players.
And some people are going to sneak away with a couple of cheesy bets because I forgot to actually close the betting at the beginning of the game. So Aether Rising sneaking in an extra 50. There you go. Sneaky.
And I lost it all.
You're going to have to... Well, you might have actually gotten 10 back while the stream was running. But we are going to go through players and their champions at this point. Do you want to do both, or do you want to do honorable mention MVP for one and I do the other?
I'll do one and you can do the other.
All right. I will do... Why don't you start with the losing team 6 players since you were the one who supported them so much, and I'll do Team Snapp afterwards.
All right. So I think my honorable mention is going to go to Jace. Just because he was keeping up with the top lane. He was throwing out that damage, picking up some kills, and just really trying to get every bit he could to keep it in. I think my MVP is going to go to that blue man for just really pushing out some poke damage, really trying to be an extra player there and running around the team, trying to pick off 2 for 1 in that Baron fight to try and get that Baron for them to have a comeback.
No shout out for Lee Sin, Dragon Axe, 8, 6, and 4. No, it's fine.
Noticed that Lee Sin.
Highest
definitely did, highest
gold
KDA.
in the game, highest KDA, probably highest damage. This is painful.
Yeah.
Dragon Axe, not good enough, man. Not good enough.
He needed to steal that 3rd Inferno. I'm sorry.
You can't please the Jess. You cannot please the Jess, no matter what you do. No,
I did
think it's
really
awesome.
like that inside kick in past the Jinx or the Vayne Condemn, and kicking into Jace for that kill. That was very smooth and nice.
All right, for the side of Team Snapp, let's figure out honorable mention and MVP. Honestly, this, you know, I could just give MVP to everyone but the Thresh. The Thresh was just so meh. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Honorable mention, I'm going to say over to Godseye on the Vayne, but that is because of the good plays following up on Lord Reeves on this Thresh, playing a decimating, just really, really good when it comes to the hooks, the engage. Didn't do as many fancy lanterns as I was expecting, but helped the bottom lane to absolutely decimate. And a huge shout out to Aether Arising on this Vi. 8, 3, and 6, highly aggressive, and that's what I love to see out of junglers. The pressure from Team Snapp at the beginning of the game to secure a red buff start, then Aether Arising coming to the bottom lane very early, getting the Vayne an early kill, just kind of set the pace for the game, snowballing in the favor of Team Snapp.
Yeah, they definitely went pretty head-to-head there with the Lee Sin keeping up ganks in man to try and snowball that rise. But it just didn't work out because Vi was ready to go in on that bot lane and help snowball Vayne so hard that she was just unstoppable.
All right, well, we'll be right back with game number 3 in just a moment. And don't go anywhere. If you're interested in playing and are new here, feel free to use that exclamation point join with your in-game name so that we can get you into that game. We will be right back, and I have to bet big in game 3 to try to catch up to 626, who I believe is currently leading in the most number of points. We'll be right back.